The heat wave gripping most of the Midwest for the past 2 weeks added more misery on Saturday.
I'd rather much have it 20 below zero than, 102 degrees, because 102 just drains you.
People in St. Louis looking for relief as the high hit 107 degrees, their 10th triple-digit day in a row. The extreme heat extended all the way to the East Coast. Washington, D.C. soared to 105, missing their all-time high by just 1 degree. Parks and playgrounds were empty. Experts issued warnings about life-threatening effects from the heat, now blamed for at least 60 deaths nationwide. The toll includes 3 people in Ohio left without air conditioning and cold water.
It's important that we realize that everybody can be at risk for extreme heat. And so heat-related illnesses and heat-related deaths do not discriminate.
In New York City Central Park, runners took extra precautions, working out early to beat the oppressive heat and humidity.
It's just harder. Everything's a bit harder. Just try to pour water, keep pouring water.
More than 33 states have seen blistering temperatures, and when you factor in the heat index, how it feels, it's even more painful.
The heat has been an extreme by a number of different measures. You can look at it, let's say, in records. 3,000 plus records have been broken this week alone.
Across the country, an estimated 500,000 people are still without power due to storms or heat-related outages. Utility crews worked overtime to restore power in hard-hit West Virginia and the D.C. area following the destructive June 29th derecho.
It's just unbearable. You can't live like this.
The Midwest, which has suffered the longest, got a bit of a break on Saturday. But farmers are still in desperate need of rain in the next few weeks to keep this year's corn crop from dying. Lost acres that could cost you at the grocery store. An estimated 75% of products consumers use include corn. One New York City ice cream vendor says the heat is melting his profits.
Right now it's too hot. You see the people in the street.
I'm meteorologist Jeff Morrow.
Already starting to droop.
From this Indiana cornfield,
beautiful yellow squash, snap beans,
to this farmer's market in North Georgia, an expanding drought equals worries.
Does it concern you?
Sure it does, because I've got a lot invested here, my wife and I, in this business.
After decades of farming, Bill Stevens started this store last March. The fresh produce he buys locally is okay for now, but with each dry day, supplies are threatened.
Of course, the prices are going to go up. And when they do go up to me from the farmer, I'm going to have to pass it on to my customers.
Stevens isn't alone. For the first time since the U.S. Drought Monitor started in 2000, over 3/4 of the country, about 205 million people, are facing abnormally dry or drought conditions. And most crops, including corn, still have a long way to grow.
The drought is going to have a direct impact on all of our wallets as we move towards the end of this year and into next year. And that's because it's impacting the yield of the corn crop. And corn is used in just about everything.
Everything from sugar and fuel to cattle feed and soda. The USDA expects food prices to rise as much as 3.5% by late this year into 2013.
And while Stevens is bracing for this drought, he's still dealing with the impacts of last year's. These bags of peanuts are running scarce.
Drought cost peanut farmers 3 times as much to produce a less than normal yield last year.
Prices went up on Valencia dry peanuts, if you can find them, from $68 a bushel to $110.
But Stevens fears the worst is still months away.
Do you have any food reserves in your home right now? How long could you provide food for your family if the food supply was cut off? A month? A week? 3 days? Wouldn't you feel better if you had the necessary reserves? Have you ever noticed that the more advanced we get, the less prepared we are? Many things that defined life only 100 years ago are so convenient today that we don't really think about what would happen if that convenience were gone. Consider how we get our food. We just go down to the grocery store and grab a few things. But what if something happened that interrupted the food supply to the store? How long would it take for the shelves to be wiped out? What would you do? How long could you and your family survive? You know, for all the other important things in our lives, we have a variety of professionals, from mechanics to doctors, to help cover our bases. Why don't we also have a food professional? Food is our greatest dependency, yet most of us find ourselves unprepared for the uncertainties that lie ahead. Why take chances? Why not do something about it? You've already taken the first step. Keep moving forward with this tour, even show you how to get your food for free.